Hello friends, welcome to today's episode of the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward. Exciting subject today. Exciting because it's about innovation, and innovation is, to me, one of the most inspiring things that comes out of difficult times. And we are in a very interesting and difficult cascade of events in 2020. So let's talk about the new wave of innovation in the coffee industry, a lot of which is being led by shifting times, whether it comes to shifting as a result of the pandemic, as a result of culture, as a result of financial global clusterfuckery, all of it is going to bring a really interesting exploration of ideas today. So let's set the landscape. 2020, we are in the middle of the second surge of the first wave of the coronavirus pandemic in North America, in Europe and in Asia. The second surge is starting. In Australia, what they're starting to witness is the first real surge of the first wave. And recently, Melbourne went into a 6-week curfew for the first time ever declared. So interesting times, especially as an epicenter of coffee in the world. I'm really proud of witnessing the creativity that's come as a result of business owners having to adapt in order to try and survive these times. A lot of businesses are not surviving, and dare I say that by the end of 2020, a vast majority of businesses in our industry won't survive, and that's devastating. Recently, we did an episode on the podcast about the reasons that businesses are going to fail as this pandemic progresses, and the reasons will be different based on how deep and how far from a time perspective we go into this pandemic. But what we are seeing is a new generation of innovators show up in the coffee industry. And that's as a result of what happens when the landscape shifts. And this is tectonic shifting that we're seeing going on. So a really interesting thing that I'm seeing is that the way that people are structuring their business is constantly a new and evolving thing. So business owners are moving away from, this is how my business runs, I'm comfortable in that, and that's what's going to happen. What we're seeing is that people are swapping ideas and looking online for ideas. We recently did an episode on how to find new ideas. But then we move towards the idea of innovation, where innovation solves problems. Innovation makes things easier for people. So it's not necessarily just about pivoting in ideas. So do I turn my cafe into a grocery store? Do I start canning my drinks? Do I start bottling beverages? Do I start meal prepping, etc., etc.? These are things, they're ideas that have been innovated before. The idea of innovation, though, is, are you the first person to do something in a different way? And a lot of the newness in innovation that I'm seeing in coffee is starting to sprout. And look, innovation is hard and it's scary. It doesn't matter how you flip it. But it's even more so in our industry, where innovation is not welcomed, unless it's by a select few of people that you'll want to follow like their saviors or something. Innovation should be something that we as an industry really do support more. And we have a problem for some reason in this industry that we don't want to support people who innovate. I don't know what our problem is with innovation as an industry. And I'm gonna speak to my own truth. When I was a puppy barista, so in the first few years of my career, actually into let's say the first 5 to 8 years of my career, I was one of those assholes that just never wanted. I was one of those people who had a problem with innovation. I didn't even give it a chance. I didn't even, you could suggest a new thing to me and I'd be like, yeah, whatever. So I am speaking as a reformed asshole. I want to cop to that because I understand the tendency. And we recently did an episode on the podcast about the backfire effect. And I really believe that the backfire effect was in full swing when it comes to this person that you're listening to right now. But I have since then moved into being focused on open-minded thinking and critical thinking and et cetera, et cetera. And I think that may be at the heart of why we as an industry see somebody who is legitimately innovating, which is something that is deeply needed right now as our industry is brutalized by 2020. And we are starting to see a new wave of innovation. We are starting to see things that had innovated in the past that people didn't uptake on really present a potential moment for growth. These are solutions that could help your business and your career right now. And if we remain stigmatized to the innovation that is being presented to us as an industry, the people who are going to lose is everybody. It's going to be the innovator and it's going to be the industry. Because we need solutions right now that are going to help us come up with a new business model, that are going to help us become more profitable, that are going to help us figure out how we solve this situation whereby the majority of our workforce is out of work right now. A lot of the businesses have gone out of business, never to return. And what do we do with the coffee that's being grown by producers that needs to get sold? Innovation is the key to helping solve these problems that our industry is experiencing. And we have it in our hands to help these innovators find success. But the block to that is our amygdala. And if you don't know what I mean by that, go back and listen to our episode on the backfire effect. It is a fantastic episode and really important for all of us to understand. I think that what's at play here is that people feel that if they are found out let me put this a different way. The barrier to entry, which we're going to talk about in a future episode, the barrier to entry is super low for our industry. And the moment you get into the industry, it's really quite easy to feel hugs and love from all your coworkers and people in the industry, so you feel like you belong, which is awesome. And what that encourages is people to find cliques and groups. What then goes on from there is that nobody wants anybody to figure out that they don't quite know what they're talking about a lot of the time when it comes to coffee. And the reason that exists, because a lot of the time it's true and a lot of the time it's not true. And the actual thing of what I wanted to say there is there's an overlap. And the reason there's an overlap of what's true and what's not true about how much you know about coffee is because it's constantly shifting. What we thought was gospel when it came to coffee 15 years ago is utter rubbish now. And what we believe is right about coffee right now is going to be utter rubbish in 5 years from now. And that creates this sense of, oh no, this is what I believe about coffee. This is what I believe to be right about coffee. And so when somebody tries to innovate and give you an idea that's different to that, you're going to rubbish it. What I would love to encourage you to do is resist that urge and go complete opposite side to that and find a way to support somebody, or at least give them the space to consider whether what they're saying or the innovation that they're proposing, whether it be a product or a business, has merit. It helps you and it helps them. We need to elevate people who are doing the very scary thing of daring to suggest innovative solutions to the plethora of problems and broken things that are in the coffee industry right now. And so I leave you with this question to ponder. How can I support an innovator and their ideas today? Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.